principle that we draw from this story is that you need to capitalize on your strengths. Again in Genesis 46:33 and 34, when Pharaoh called you in and asks, "What's your occupation?" you should answer, "Your servants have tended livestock from our boyhood, just as our fathers did." Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they try to meet their needs is by doing something that they have no experience or training to do. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever done that? Shake your head north and south. We do that. We think, well, I'm not very good at, apparently things aren't working out for me, so I need to do something else. I need to try another job. And it's not that we need to try another job, it's that we need to try another career, or just, I need to just go do something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with learning a new craft or a new job, or to educate yourself to learn something better. I think that's commendable and should be done. But while you're doing that, you need the foundation and security of what you do best. You need to focus on what you do best. Now, your employer wants to know the very same thing that the Pharaoh wanted to know. And the Pharaoh is going to ask this question, and this is the same thing that your employer is asking. What do you do? What's your product or your service? The Pharaoh is going to say, this is what Joseph said, the Pharaoh is going to say, what's your occupation? Same thing is true in your life. Your employer, or the people who pay you for what you do, if you're self-employed, are going to ask the question, what do you do? What is your product? What is your service? Now, let me say this. If you're looking for a job, you'll do a whole lot better job selling what you do than selling yourself. Because the fact of the matter is, and I was told all my life, you just got to go in there and sell yourself. You got to sell yourself. That's kind of a sales strategy. And I discovered in my own life, and it's a biblical principle, no, you're not there to sell yourself. You're there to sell what you do. What is your product? What is your service? What is it that your company is willing to buy? And the matter of fact is that you are your product. And all that you do in a job is sell your product or your service to your company. So if you are a line operator at Ford, you're selling your service to Ford. And then the rest of us are paying for it dearly. If you are a policeman, you're selling your services to the government. If you're a teacher, you're selling your services to the school system. Whatever your job is, you're selling your product or your services to someone. So really the principle is you need to sell your product. You need to capitalize on your strengths, not who you are. If you go in and tell somebody, well, look how charming I am, yeah, I'm pretty, and you can have this little hunk of beauty sitting at a desk in your office if you'll just give me a chance. That's not going to get you very far. I've tried it. Don't ask someone to hire you. Ask them to buy what you sell. Ask them to buy your service, your product. Because, and why is that so important? Because that's what you believe in. You believe in what you do well. You believe in it. You may think that other people don't believe in it, but you believe in it. What you do well, you believe in it. What you believe in, that's what you can sell, and that's what you can promote to an employer. That is just the key. I get so tickled in my business. My business is it's like any other business. I mean, it's just highly competitive. But in the voiceover business, there aren't that many, it's a growing business because people think that it's real easy. All I need is a microphone and a computer and I can voice a commercial. And then people like me come along and just eat them up for lunch. But because they think that they can just go and they can do something, it's just simple and they're going to get paid for it, and it's just a real easy job. The fact of the matter is, they don't know how to sell it because they don't believe in what they do. They believe that they want to, they don't believe that they can. And one of the things that you do, and remember, I'm such a marketing genius, one of the things that you do is in marketing is that you sell what you can, what you do, what you are. It's not one thing, if Coca-Cola came along and just sold themselves as we're Coke, it wouldn't have gotten very far. They had to sell a product, something that people wanted, people were interested in. If you're a service industry, you sell the service, you don't sell the name. Now, eventually the name may be branding, and it's kind of comes associated with good service. But the fact of the matter is that you have to sell your service, your product. Now, here's the corollary to that principle, and that is you have to depend on God. You have to depend on God. Psalm 62, verses 5 through 8 says this, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Trust in Him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge." I will tell you from personal experience, and many of you can vouch for this in your own lives, that as strong of a marketing genius that I am, my business would fail if it was dependent on me. My business is dependent on God. Finding business is dependent on God. Accomplishing the business is dependent on God. If I'm not completely dependent on God, I can tell a big, big difference in what happens in my business. That's just the way it is. So you need to capitalize on your strengths, but the balance of it is you need to completely depend